make Zelda videos, I very often talk about the mini-bosses, but today instead I'll be talking about the regular and final bosses in the Zelda franchise. This list is entirely opinion-based, and it shouldn't be taken seriously. It's totally fine if you disagree with any of these choices. Now let's start off our list. Now this is a very unpopular opinion. Now Demise was a difficult, fun boss with a good design, and he also had a cool theme as well. The fight also felt epic, and I'm a fan of what happens at the end of the fight. So a lot of you who have fought Demise may be thinking, so why is he even on the list then? Well, he's a reskin of a regular enemy you fight really early in the game. In fact, you fight this enemy so early in the game, it has a lot of different variants. Probably the most variants out of all the enemies in the game. This enemy is known as the Bokoblin. If you use your sword against them, they'll try to block it with their weapon. In the first phase of the Demise fight, you need to keep trying to hit him in different spots before you can actually attack him, which is very similar to how you fight Bokoblins. And even some variants have more to separate themselves from other Bokoblins than Demise has with the regular enemy. However, in the second phase, the way you hurt him is different enough from how you fight a normal Bokoblin, and he even starts attacking you with thunder, which no Bokoblin does. And I like the way you try to fight him in this phase, because it makes use out of an attack that plays a big role in the game. However, still, he doesn't seem to have enough relation with Bokoblins, and really a final boss shouldn't be like fighting off a regular enemy, even if they have some new sword moves. The Legend of Zelda franchise has some reoccurring battle styles in boss fights, but to be honest, the battle style that I'm least interested in with the more modern Zelda games is using bombs against bosses, which is why Skuldera is on this list. Now it's okay if a Zelda boss from one of the very first games uses bombs in their boss fight, or if a boss uses bombs in, let's say, one phase of the fight, but not throughout the entire thing. But Skuldred has you use bombs against it throughout the entire fight, from both the second and first phase, which obviously isn't a good thing. Its design doesn't even fit the dungeon it's in anyway. The dungeon you fight Skuldred in is called the Earth Temple, and it's full of sculptures, and even the boss arena is made to look like a dragon, which is actually quite cool actually. But this boss basically looks like this weird creature with 6 frog-like legs and just rocks on him, and you know, the design isn't that great and it can look very ridiculous really. So Skuldred takes the number 4 spot. Well, we've reached our first boss that's not from Skyward Sword. Calamity Ganon was a fun fight, and I continued to go to fight him for fun. However, once I defeated him, I thought, I guess I might as well quit the game then, even though I didn't. But why would I think this, you may ask? Because Dark Beast Ganon isn't that good of a fight. This boss is easy because it was very simple for a 2017 boss. All he does is shoot lasers at you, which is very simple and he doesn't really do much. He'll turn around, but he doesn't have a big variety of attacks. The theme of the fight is good, and I like at the end how you can use the updraft from the fires he creates to get into the air to attack him. Difficulty is an important thing when it comes down to boss fights. However, there are a lot of Zelda bosses that aren't really difficult. And while Link's Awakening had many great boss fights, most of them weren't a challenge. Personally, I consider the 6 phases of the Shadow Nightmare fight at the end of the game to be 6 different bosses. Half of them are good, 2 of them are average, and 1 of them is bad. In fact, terrible. The Landmola mini-boss was cool, but the Shadow version isn't. You literally just saw me destroy it in literally seconds. So that's why it's on this list. If you use a boomerang on it, which isn't at all cheesing, it'll just stay in one place, rapidly decreasing the difficulty of this fight. The Imprisoned, in my opinion, is an underrated boss, but only 2 of the fights were good. The Imprisoned is demised but trapped in a different form. So this boss plays a big role in the game's story, which is probably why you fight it multiple times. But only 1 fight will make it onto this list, and that one is the second one. In this second fight, the Imprisoned has 2 really long arms to climb its way out of the sealed grounds to get to the sealed temple, but it's an opportunity for you to smash up its toes, that way making the fight easier. However, you're supposed to use the Grucinator to blow it up when it's trying to climb its way out of the sealed grounds. So that part of the fight's just there to make it easier, and overall it's kind of meaningless really as well. Gruce's character is expanded upon with this boss, but the Imprisoned fight after this one is a big upgrade over this one. So what do you think of my list? Please tell me in the comments. Like, subscribe, share, and have a nice day!